Hi everyone, my name is Jelly of Yele Stitches. Yele Stitches is a female fashion brand that makes custom dresses and accessories for women. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a pattern to make a dartless skirt. Let's get into it. So the first thing you need to do is to have the measurements of your waist circumference, your hip circumference, the length of your skirt, and the length from your waist to your hip. That is the length from your upper waist to your hip if you are making a high waist skirt, or from your lower waist to your hip if you are making a normal waisted skirt. Alright, so the measurements I'm using is waist 26, hips 39 inches, length from my waist to my hip is 9 inches. Mostly is 9 to 10 inches for a regular adult. That is from the upper waist to the hip. And then the last measurement is the length of the skirt, which is 28 inches. I want it to be a midi. So I'm going to divide my waist measurements, which is 26 into 4. 26 divided by 4 is 6.5 inches. Then I'm going to go down the length from my waist to my hip line. The length from my waist to my hip line is 9 inches. So at the 9 inches mark, something different is going to happen. All right, because the back is more curvy than the front and I want to make a dartless skirt, I'm going to divide 39 into 2 equal parts, then subtract 1.5 from the front and add 1.5 to the back. I hope you understand that. So 39 divided into 2 is 19.5. So I'm going to subtract 1.5 from 19.5 and I'm going to have 18. I'm going to split 18 into 2 and that will be 9 inches for my front. So that means my back is going to be 19.5 plus 1.5, but we haven't gotten the back yet. So for the front, I'm just going to measure 9 inches. I hope you get how we calculated that. We divided 39 into 2 to get 19.5 for the front and 19.5 for the back, but because the front is less curvy, I subtracted 1.5, which I'm going to add to the back. So 19.5 minus 1.5 is 18, and then I measured 18 divided by 2, which is 9, and then I got my point. Now for the base of the skirt, I just measured the length that I want, which is 28 inches. Now what I'm going to do next is to divide my general hip measurement into 4 and subtract 1.5 from it. That is going to be the circumference around my legs, or around my knees preferably, because I want it to be a pencil skirt. So it's going to slope down. So since it's going to slope down, I'm just going to measure the distance from my waist to my knee. Remember, from my waist to my knee, not to the end of the skirt, to my knee, because we want it to be equal from the knee down to the end of the skirt. So the length from my waist to my knee is 26 inches, and I'm just going to divide my waist measurement into 4 and subtract 1.5 from it. So that's going to be about 9. That's going to be about 10 minus 1.5, or 9.75 minus 1.5, and then I'm going to draw my straight line from my waist to my knee, and then a straight line down to the length of the skirt that I want. Okay, so I'm going to use my curve ruler to draw from my waist to my hip, curve ruler from waist to hip, because you want it to be curvy. Now imagine if we had used the entire hip measurement and just divided it by 2. The curve from your waist to your hip will have been so much unrealistic, and that is why we reduced that 1.5 to make the curve even more realistic, and so your fabric will always agree with you. And remember, this is a dartless skirt. A dartless skirt. If it had a dart, then we could have used the normal hip measurement, but since there is no dart, we are going to use the smaller curve where we subtracted 1.5 from it. I hope you are following me. If you have any question, please put it in the comment section and I will answer your questions. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a straight line, a straight slant line from my hip down to my knee, a straight slant line from my hip to my knee, and then I curved out that little hip knee corner. I hope you saw me curve it out just to smooth it out, and then I just draw a straight line from my knee to the end of the skirt. A straight line is not slanted, it's just straight. Please, it is exactly the same measurement at the top and the same measurement at the bottom, so just a straight line, no slant at all. Okay, so now we are finished drawing the pattern for the front of our skirt, a dartless skirt. There is no dart, and that is why we use that format. Now the next thing is to draw the pattern for our back. Now remember the 1.5 that we took from the front of our skirt, or from the front hip of our skirt. We are now going to add it to the back of our skirt. So the side is going to be exactly the same thing for the back. The sides will be exactly the same thing, but we are going to add our extra 1.5 to the joining at the back. That is the line that goes right along the curve of your back. So because this person is curvy, I won't tell you what the person is. It might be me. All right, so because this person is curvy, we're going to have to add the extra inches to the back and not to the sides of the skirt. I hope you get that. If you have any question, as always, please let me know in the comment section, and I'm going to be sure to reply your questions. All right, so right at the hip line, I'm going to add my extra 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to measure it. Or here I'm just doing my 39 divided by 4 and divided by 2, and adding my 1.5 and dividing into 2. So that's just me adding the extra 1.5 at the hip line. Now when I have that, I'm now going to just join the upper part, a straight line from the upper part, or like 2 inches from the top, join it to my curve and bring it down to about 2 inches from the knee measurement. From the knee, not from the bottom of the skirt, from the knee. So I'm just going to draw my curve down, and you see that it is sloping. Like that is like the shape of the butt. That is exactly what I did. So that line is going to go right along your back line. The back line, right along the back line. Now I'm going to use my marker to make the shape more pronounced. My marker is not really doing well, and I will have used the marker even from the beginning, but it hasn't really been doing well. It's been failing on me, so that's why I've been using pencil. I'm so sorry, but I think you can still see the lines with the pencil. All right, so you've seen me draw the curve. That's the curve from the top to the waistline, and from the waistline down. Now if you are going to add seam allowance, you're going to add 1 inch seam allowance along all these lines. You're going to add 1 inch seam allowance to the side and 1 inch seam allowance to the zip side. But the skirt I'm making is a stretchy skirt, so I do not need zip, and I also do not need allowance for my stretchy skirt. So if you are making a stretchy skirt, you can just use this exact pattern and you'll be so good. But if you're not making a stretchy skirt, make sure you put in your zipper allowance and your side seam allowances, at least 1 inch on all sides, and put in 0.5 inches at the top and about 1 inch at the bottom of your skirt. All right, so now this is my black fabric, and I told you it is very stretchy, so I do not need zipper for this skirt. So I'm just going to place my front pattern first of all on it. Now for my front pattern, there is something called the dip that I have to put at the front. The dip is just for the stomach, so like there will be extra space for your stomach to relax. I just showed you that my fabric is actually really stretchy. So anyway, so I'm at the front, I'm going to go down by 1 inch. You can go down from 0.5 to 1 inch depending on how big or how small the stomach is, but I'll just recommend 1 inch as a general one for everyone, as a general average for everyone. So I'm just going to go down by 1 inch and then draw a slant line from the dip back to the edge of my skirt. As you're seeing me do, it is for the stomach. If you don't put this in, your skirt will have a fold at the front that you won't like. I don't know if you've seen that before in skirts. The skirt just has an extra fold in front for nothing. You understand? So that is the reason why we are putting that dip, so your skirt will not have some extra folds in front. So after the dip, I just cut the front pattern on my black stretchy beautiful fabric, and I'm also going to cut the pattern for the back. As you can see, the back does not have a dip. It does not need the dip. If possible, it should even have a height or a rise instead of a dip. But since there is dip in front, I don't think you need to put a rise at the back anymore. So but make sure that your back doesn't have a dip, only your front has a dip. So I'm placing all my fabric cuttings together, and I'm going to sew the side. So the sides are exactly the same. The sides of the front and of the back are exactly the same. So you sew together the sides, and then for the back of the skirt is going to have that extra space for your bum area. The extra space for your bum area. And that is the end of my tutorial. Next, you're going to see a video of what the skirt looks like after I made it. I added some extra free as usual, because you cannot be a fashion designer and be wearing boring clothes. So this is what the skirt basically looks like. I just added the extra drippings on the side to make it look shum as always. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.